Welcome to ESPN College Football, presented by PlayStation 4. Wake Forest are hosting their second top 10 opponent in the last 3 weeks, hoping they can fare better. It's Clemson today. The Tigers coming in undefeated. That is Aaron Curry on the back of the motorcycle, bringing the Demon Deacons into BB&T Field. As we get set for an ACC showdown with the undefeated Clemson Tigers coming in, ranked 4th in the country. I'm Beth Bowens, Anthony Becht. We got Rocky Boyman down on the field with us today. And all the talk, of course, Anthony, around college football really has been the quarterback situation at Clemson. Last week, Trevor Lawrence gets the start, but he got hurt and got knocked out of the game. He is set to return today.
Yeah, he's good to go. The Lawrence era has begun for Clemson, and it wasn't hard for Dabo Swinney to choose him as his starter. Go back to Georgia Tech 2 weeks ago. This kid led the charge in the first half, zipping touchdown passes in, standing in the pocket, and taking on hits, but delivering the throw down the field. And do you have accuracy on the move? Watch this throw, folks. This kid has been impressive. I'm looking forward to seeing him play a complete game today, Beth, against Wake Forest.
Then here come the Tigers, winners of 29 of their last 31 ACC games. They're going to have to get ready to run today, aren't they, Rocky?
Well, absolutely, Beth. Clemson's defense better have brought their oxygen tanks and their track shoes, because this Wake Forest offensive operation goes fast. They average 87 plays per game. That's second most in the country. And they combine that tempo with a very complex run-pass option scheme. It's very deceptive. It makes it tough on that defense to know when it's run and when it's pass. It's fun to watch.
Tigers and Demon Deacons set to go today in Winston-Salem. We've got the kick coming up next. A bit of an overcast day in Winston-Salem as we welcome you back to the ACC on ESPN. Plenty of orange in the house. The Clemson faithful making the 3.5-hour trek up the Interstate 85 on the way to Wake Forest. Now they are out in force to support one of the 14 remaining undefeated teams in college football. Wake Forest won the toss and deferred, so we will see that Clemson offense pronto with Trevor Lawrence. Had the neck injury last week, did not play in the second half, and they survived a scare against Syracuse thanks to the play of Chase Bryce at quarterback, and a huge day from Travis Etienne, who ran for over 200 yards. He may have an opportunity for a big number again today against a Wake Forest defensive unit that is down near the bottom of the ACC in just about every category. And out to the 25 for their first possession. And it will be the true freshman Trevor Lawrence from Cartersville, Georgia, the number 2 rated recruit, the top quarterback recruit, and taking over a couple of weeks ago for Kelly Bryant as the guy at Clemson.
I love digging into the tape. This kid is a pure pocket passer. Moving within the pocket. He's great with his legs, but he's moving to get the ball down the field. But he hasn't faced much adversity this year. That'll be interesting to see if that happens today or moving forward.
He's got a good one in the backfield with him. And Etienne, the sophomore, they'll throw it to the outside. Amari Rogers, it's a very solid receiving core as well. Rogers, Higgins, and Hunter Renfro. And they really like the youngster, true freshman Justin Ross could get a little more PT today. Clemson will start out quickly. Dropped by Etienne in the backfield. They'll rule it an incomplete pass, so it's going to bring up 3rd and long.
I think you'll see a more fluent passing offense with Clemson. This is the growing trend across football, right? The Alabamas, these teams can now throw the ball down the field and be dangerous. That's why Trevor Lawrence is in the game.
43% conversion rate on 3rd downs this year for the Tigers. Good protection in front of Trevor. Gets the pass away. Caught at the 30 and stuffed immediately was Garrett Williams. And Wake Forest will force the punt.
Again, Lawrence, as good as he's played, Beth, still growing. Had a trips formation there. Renfro was actually wide open, didn't get it to him, was looking that way, dumps it off late. So good job by Wake's defense to get off the field. And here he is, Beth, right? Greg Dortch, this is the guy, right? 20 plus touches for me. He's going to return punts. He's going to play receiver. This kid is magic with the football in his hands.
Only active player with a couple of punt returns, one of 60 and one of 70 for touchdowns. And he's forced a fair catch there at his own 29 after the 41-yard punt from Will Spires. So we turn our attention to another newcomer at quarterback. It's Sam Hartman, the freshman out of Cornelius, North Carolina, coming off a terrific 4-touchdown performance last week against Rice.
Don't sleep on this true freshman. His stats are as good as any in the ACC. Very live arm. He's active. He'll run. He's tough in the pocket, and he's perfecting this RPO system. When to pull it, when to throw it, when to suck the backers in. If he can get that down today, he can be effective.
They're going to run it. Matt Colburn, a 2,000-yard career rusher, the senior from Irmo, South Carolina. They're going to go fast, nearly 90 plays a game. Twice this year, they've scored over 50 points in a contest. Let's check in with Rocky on another Colburn carry. Rock?
One thing I already noticed down here with this Wake Forest offensive line, every play starts off as a run. You can't really tell a difference of when they're pass blocking or when they're run blocking because they're essentially coming out on the run. They're firing out a little bit. It's very deceptive, tough, especially for these linebackers.
Looking at a 3rd and 5. Hartman stepping up in the pocket, will run for it and appears to have enough. Close to the 40. Kayvon Wallace, the safety, got a hit on him, but it'll move the sticks.
That's a good job of getting out, but you better watch yourself running the football. He got balled up there, coiled down pretty hard by the defense. You cannot take those shots in last 4 quarters of football.
False start, offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's on Nathan Gilliam. Not only a hard shot at the end of the run, but twice, Anthony, we've already seen he holds that ball so long at the mesh point, he's even taken a couple of hits after he hands off.
Yeah, Rocky makes a great point. What it does on the defensive side, Beth, it takes away your aggressiveness up front. Defensive line cannot just penetrate through the gap like they want to, deterring some of those aggressive plays you'll see up front from them.
Pass incomplete. That was Kendall Joseph who blew that thing up with the pressure right up the middle.
And you're right, Ant. That's what happens. The linebackers find themselves in no man's land. As a linebacker, you want to come downhill, you want to attack that run, but as soon as you do it, Sam Hartman pulls that ball out and pops the pass right behind you. It's tough.
Here we go. Run it on 2nd and 15, and Clemson does a nice job of stretching that play out. They got 4 outstanding D linemen. That was Christian Wilkins with the tackle there, the grad student out of Springfield, Mass. And a second-team All-American last year. All 4 of those guys expected to go quickly in the NFL draft next spring.
Back the Brinks up. There's a lot of money on that defensive line, there's no doubt.
3rd and long, and here they come again, and it's Trey Lamar, the middle linebacker, with the sack of Sam Hartman. Then it's 4th down.
Yeah, Trey Lamar, he's the guy. He's going to come through. He's very active at the line of scrimmage. If anything, he blitzes the most of all the linebackers on this football team. You better put a body on him. You see number 22, Colburn, is late on that. You have to get up in the line of scrimmage and take that block on early.
Loss of 12 on the sack. Dom Maggio will punt this from his own 10-yard line. Amari Rogers awaits. And Amari on the run. Lunges out to the 42-yard line. A 6-yard return after a 40-yard punt. Scoreless early at Wake. Thank you very much, Adnan. So one unbeaten goes down today. We've got another one here. Clemson back on offense. And the give to Travis Etienne. What a job he did last week against Syracuse. 27 carries, 203 yards, and 3 touchdown runs, including the game winner late. Trevor Lawrence against the four-man pressure. He's going to run with it, will slide and get out to midfield. That's his first contact since that neck injury last week.
Yeah, you know, he's 6'6", so even when he slides, Beth, still a lot of his body is still up in the air. Took a shot really close there, Wake Forest didn't get a flag, but he's got to be smart as a runner. They don't want to get him on the sidelines anymore.
Looking at a 3rd and 3 here. Edge pressure coming. Ball gets away from Lawrence, still down on the deck, and Wake Forest has it. Buggy Basham with the fumble recovery.
Carlos Basham, that ball just comes out of his hands right in the midsection there. It slips out in the back. He falls over, ball's dangling between his legs. Carlos Basham does a nice job of just falling on. This is a gimme fumble here. Very odd. You know, big hands, big quarterback. It's a huge play for Wake Forest, Beth.
They are set up now at the Tiger 41. Hartman in trouble immediately. Cleveland Farrell. It's the 2nd sack for Clemson.
Cleveland Farrell is not a good matchup on the edge to try to protect. These guys are long and fast on the edges and disruptors in the middle.
Now the rollout to help him try and buy some time. The throw downfield. Caught by Alex Bachman for a first down, but there is a flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul, illegal block below the waist, offense, number 36, 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, that's going to be on Cade Carney. A block below the waist.
Yeah, see him here. Once he gets outside the box or 5 yards down the field, you cannot do that. So that's a penalty flag this year.
We've already seen how little time, Anthony, they have to try and find Greg Dortch. He's their playmaker. He's their guy.
Well, if he can't win one-on-one in the slot and they don't have the time, they need to get the ball to him quickly, quick passes, move him, jet sweeps. All those things have to be in play to find a way to get him a ball.
They'll throw it to the outside, looking for Bachman, and it's incomplete.
And they got to find a way to get Dortch involved early. Go back a couple weeks ago versus Boston College. He only had 5 first-half targets. I say just find any way, get the ball in his hands early, let him get in the flow of the game, because he is a game-changing kind of player.
Rocky, what would you call on 3rd and 30? I'm putting you on the spot real quick.
I'd get the ball to number 3. I know that.
They're going to run it instead, and nothing doing. Cleveland Farrell with the stop. Junior out of Richmond, Virginia. 6 sacks now on the season for Cleveland. And Dortch, frustration through the first couple of possessions, and Wake is unable to do anything with the turnover in Clemson territory. 2 possessions, guys. They are negative 24 yards. Rogers will wave for the fair catch. 42 yards on the punt. Clemson will have it on their own 18. The defense dominant, strutting their stuff early.
ESPN College Football is presented by PlayStation 4, the best place to play.
Clemson is in town. That little lady's already seen a little bit of turnover with the Clemson quarterback situation. Last year's starter Kelly Bryant won the job again this year initially. Started out the first few games, and then Trevor Lawrence was named the starter prior to last week. Kelly Bryant had seen enough. He decided he would transfer, hasn't announced where just yet. And then in his first start against Syracuse last week, Lawrence got hurt and didn't play in the second half, and now he returns to start again today. And he throws it out into the flat. T. Higgins Of course, without Trevor Lawrence, that was the guy that saved the day. Chase Bryce led the longest game-winning drive by Clemson in the final minute of play since 1958, but now back to the penny in the headset as the backup. Sampson. It was interesting hearing from Jeff Scott, one of the co-offensive coordinators. They had actually talked about that very scenario last Friday night. Hey, here's what happens if Trevor does happen to get knocked out of the game. And sure enough, they were ready for it. And especially Bryce and the job of that offensive line to create running room for ETN. Not on that occasion, though. Nasir Greer getting into the backfield.
Beth, this Wake Forest defense is playing fast, and that's been the effort the last couple weeks ever since they let go of Jay Sawvell, the defensive coordinator, is to simplify things and let these boys fly around. They're doing it today.
Got Clemson right now rocking a 3rd and 7. Pressure right up the middle. Lawrence able to chuck it out of bounds, but he was in the grasp of Rondell Bothroyd, and the Tigers are 0 for 3 on 3rd downs here in the first.
It's a nice job here coming underneath. Number 46, that's Taylor. He's the Mike backer on the edge line of the scrimmage, making a big play, rushing Lawrence there. Again, Wake doing some good things early on defense.
They appear to be working on Trevor Lawrence over there on the Clemson bench. Keep an eye on that Clemson sideline for you. The punt here on 4th down. Dortch nowhere to go after the 38-yard punt. And Trevor Lawrence, folks, has gone into the tent to get checked out by Clemson. Scoreless here at Wake Forest. Trevor Lawrence is out of the 10th and back on the sideline with the offense, but he's been taking some early hits.
Yeah, you know, early on in this game, that was the fumble, taking some shots, some bodies leaning on him. This is that last play when he gets hit early. I mean, listen, he's a big guy, he can take them, but you don't want to have those add up in this football game. And it's like he's doing a little rolling with some of those foam rollers to get his legs back.
Meanwhile, back to the action, and the dominance continues for this Clemson defense. Xavier Thomas, and another negative yardage play for Wake Forest.
It doesn't matter how deceptive your operation is. If you can't block anybody, it's going to be a long day.
Hartman on the carry, and he too has taken a couple of hits early. We got a flag down. Still no targets for Greg Dortch yet.
Illegal formation, offense. 5 players are in the backfield. Penalties decline.
They average 3 penalties a game. That's their 3rd penalty of the quarter.
All right, here's another shot he takes here, and they're not going to be fun. I would say that they're telling the defense when he doesn't have the ball, hit him real close, and when he runs the ball, you got to make sure you tackle him. He is a true freshman. Get in his head a little bit. But this, obviously, with the penalties, last 2 series, Beth, are not helping this football team 3rd and long.
Their total yards now is still in the negative through their first 3 drives. Hartman with some time, overthrows it, and almost intercepted Mark Fields. Couldn't hold on, and it's 4th down.
A good job of protection by Wake Forest. They have a veteran offensive line, but not a great throw by Sam Hartman down the field. I'd say 2 things are wrong. The throw is bad, and Greg Dortch runs a short route that wouldn't have been deep enough for the 1st down. Sails right over, just gets away from him. You got to catch that ball if your Fields finally back. He was suspended last week. Beth didn't play in that game.
Rodgers with a chance. And out to about the 42. A return of 8 yards, and Trevor Lawrence will indeed return for Clemson.
The
college football playoff lives on ESPN.
Well, we are less than a month away from the first reveal on October 30th. And here are your college football rankings brought to you by Capital One. Alabama rolled today. Already an upset. Oklahoma no longer unbeaten. Texas got them with a late field goal. LSU, Florida just underway. They are scoreless so far. Beth Mowens, Anthony Becht, Rocky Boyman, and Travis Etienne. Touchdown Tigers, 59 yards.
The offense starts, in my opinion, with Etienne. He's the guy that can lead this team and take the pressure off the quarterback position.
Just a sophomore, but nobody's run it better thus far, averaging 7.5 yards per carry. Early on in his career, the best figure so far in Clemson history. 59 yards here.
He's the most explosive, dynamic player on the field. You better put a body on this guy or he will make you pay.
Seven 0 Clemson jumping on top of Wake Forest. Travis Etienne with the long touchdown run, his 9th of the season. And that will put Clemson a bit more at ease after some struggles through their first couple of possessions. Over the head of Greg Dortch. And Anthony, let's go back and break down that run.
Yeah, it's all about key blocks, right? We're going to watch the center come up underneath, and we'll also get the fullback kicking out. That's Williams. And again, Etienne, just patience, lets the block set up, and look at that hole open up. Home run, baby. That's what it's all about, and he is a game changer, Beth.
Fluid. That's the use I would use to describe him as he runs. He bends, he wiggles, he just kind of flows through the hole. And then, of course, he has that 6th gear to just lead people at the end.
Justin Falcinelli and those guys up front leading the way. And now what's the response for Wake Forest? Short run there. What do you got for us, Adnan, in the studio? Thank you, Adnan. Trey Lamar with the tackle on Matt Colburn right there. It's going to bring up a 3rd down. Not much so far for Wake Forest to crow about offensively.
Much more manageable 3rd and 7, even though that's a long way. Bet they had 3rd and 30, 3rd and 12. They need to make a big play here.
They bunch up Greg Dortch to the left. Hartman rolling that way, incomplete, and it's 4th down. The total yardage remains in the negative for Wake here in the first quarter.
And again, I know they're trying to work the run early downs, but Greg Dortch, to get one opportunity so far in this game, you better find ways to get your best playmaker the football. I said 20 touches. He hasn't got any yet.
No, just one target, in fact. 15 plays for -3 yards. The fair catch here for Rodgers as he runs it out of bounds at the 31. And let's check back in with Adnan. Thank you very much, Adnan. Well, perhaps we saw a little turning point for Florida State in that late win at Louisville. Of course, the Ville took it on the chin again from Georgia Tech last night. Adam Choice now in at tailback. This is Ross. They really like this youngster, the freshman, already having an impact out to the 36-yard line. He's been a big play guy, averaging over 20 yards per catch.
Nice target, too. 6'4", 210 pounds. He's got 3 touchdowns on the year, so he's a guy with this space, a little off coverage by these corners. They're going to get those quick throws and let receivers make plays.
choice for a couple more. It'll be third and short. Well, the ESPN app now has ESPN Plus. Get more ESPN and download now for all the latest, and including a chance to keep up with all the recruiting news going on. This is a 3rd and 4 right now for the Tigers. This is Choice coming out of the backfield. Is going to be about a yard short. Got to the 40. They needed the 41. Boogie Basham with the stop. And it's 4th down.
Basham's done a nice job. I really like this kid. 6'5", 270 pounds. He's a sophomore, Bet. I thought he was really working the tackles against Notre Dame. He's a young player. He has to build his consistency, but he's showing up early on in this football game.
His relentlessness is very noticeable down here on the field.
All right, here we go again with Greg Dortch. His punt return average, nearly 17 yards per game. That is number 1 in FBS. Hasn't had much of a chance so far. That will bounce right to him. And he is buried at the 11 after the 47-yard punt. Well, tonight on ABC, you've got 6th ranked and unbeaten Notre Dame headed to Blacksburg to take on number 24 Virginia Tech. It's Saturday Night Football presented by Wells Fargo tonight at 8 Eastern. And how about the play of Ian Book? He got his first start right here at Wake a couple weeks ago.
He took this game over. It was really the Ian Book show. Whether it was running, passing, this kid is really taking Notre Dame to the next level.
Had 5 touchdowns that afternoon and then followed it up with the big win at home last week against Stanford.
Guys talking about Ian Book, last 2 weeks in a row, he's hit 10 different wide receivers. I love watching him. The biggest thing that stands out is he just is able to make quick decisions. I think the most important attribute for a quarterback. He's playing well.
This is the last ranked stumbling block for the Irish on their schedule tonight. They try to run it up the middle after trying to get it to Dortch on that last play. Tanner Muse with the stop.
I think Clemson's plan for the RPO is just attack it. Just attack, push those offensive linemen back, shoot those gaps, and it's working right now.
3rd and 9. Clausen's all riled up at the officials right now. Huntman in trouble. Chased by Wilkins. He'll chuck it downfield, and Dortch with a big cushion to make the catch at the 35 for the first down.
I don't know what route that could have been. He just really gets out, finds an open space. Again, tight coverage, and he just adjusts. When your quarterback rolls, you come back to the sidelines, get yourself open. Good vision by Hartman to get the ball to him.
The first catch, 22 yards to Dortch, and then not on the same page with Alex Bachman. 2nd and 10 coming up, under 3 minutes to go here in the first, and a touchdown lead for the Tigers on the Travis Etienne 59-yard run.
Clausen's been heated here since this series started. I would say calm down. You got a young quarterback, some young players. Let's get refocused and get your offense going.
They'll run it out to the 40 with Cade Carney. He's their lead rusher, the junior from Advance, North Carolina, and a 4-yard pickup. Clausen now in his 5th season. Back-to-back bowl years. They went 8-5 a year ago. With an experienced quarterback. And now the freshman, they get the first down yardage right there to Bachman. Looks like they got it. And here they go, up-tempo.
I mean, that yellow line isn't exactly the first down, but referees seem good. But you see that live arm by Hartman.
Hartman trying to go against the grain and taken down immediately at the 45, Rocky.
Guys, I think it's important to mention down here, it's pretty hot, pretty humid, so with this up-tempo, you see some defensive linemen with their hands on their hips right now. This combination of heat and tempo is tough for a defense.
The one thing they're doing is rotating some of those linemen in between series. We'll see if these guys can play as well as their starters.
Carney stuffed for a loss. Niles Pinckney, one of those backups in the middle with the hit.
Yeah, last year they lacked depth, right? That's what Coach Venables had told us. This year they feel like they have some guys that can come in and give refreshers to their starting defensive line.
3rd and 12. Hartman. Here comes Farrell right in his face, forcing him to toss it downfield, and it's intercepted by Tanner Muse. Give Cleveland the assist. Getting right in Hartman's grill.
Farrell's been a problem. Rolls inside, goes right over the center. Anderson doesn't pick him up, forces Hartman to throw this ball off balance. Well, you just can't throw it up in the air. Freshman mistake, and Muse, Clemson's defense, makes him pay.
6th pick of the season for Sam.
Again, middle of the field area. This could be a big play opportunity. Big receivers. Got T. Higgins on the outside. Do they take a chance to start this off a turnover?
Trevor so far 6 of 8 throwing. The officials blew the whistle there and actually moved the ball back a yard. So it's from their own 38. Tavian Feaster is now the tailback. So the third different guy we've seen for Clemson. They can all hit it big out to the 45 and a gain of 7.
Yeah, all these backs that come in, they're all starters somewhere else, Beth. Joyce comes in, downhiller. He started back in 2014. Then Feaster comes in, who's nicked in. Looks like he may have got a little stinger on his shoulder, but you know what? They just roll another guy in. ETN comes in. That's worse for this Wake Forest defense.
I'm waiting for Clemson to put one up in the air. This secondary for Wake Forest has really struggled all season.
And it's interesting, Rocky, with the off coverage, they're honoring that speed, trying to stay away from these explosive pass plays.
On 2nd down, another quick hitter to the edge. And a first down to T. Higgins. You guys mentioned the big plays. How about 6 of them for Boston College in the BC win? Explosive plays. And now it is T. Higgins, the injured Tiger.
Wake Forest guys sitting down as well. And here's the hit right on the sidelines. Boom, yeah. Takes one in the helmet, takes one in the ribs.
Are they going to look at a possible target right here? That certainly would appear to be crown of the helmet from Cameron Glenn to T. Higgins.
And, you know, T. Higgins is kind of going down. It's always a tough angle. The helmet's hit for sure. Wake's got a guy down as well, so 2 guys getting injured on this play.
It's a penalty on Clausen here, I think, guys.
There is no foul on the play. Injured player to Wake Forest.
So I'm still unclear as to why that wouldn't be a targeting foul.
The ruling on the field is a first down. The previous play is under review.
And there you go.
And there you go. 46 seconds to go here in the first.
So again, the helmets collide. Obviously, that's instantaneous. Again, we're not supposed to judge.
I mean, that's...
I would say he lowered his head there and led with it. Hits in the helmet, neck area of Higgins, and that's probably going to be a disqualification.
That's his textbook, unfortunately, as it comes for Cameron Glenn.
That's a 5th-year senior, very experienced guy in the back end, where they've had some issues. Now he comes out. Probably Luke Masterson, number 12, who actually had a good game last week. Beth will probably come in and replace him.
We did notice that T. Higgins did go into the medical tent for Clemson.
And almost looks like an identical shot, an area that Trevor Lawrence took a shot last week in that neck helmet area. So hopefully he's okay. In 2 weeks, 2 of your stud players with injuries. Clemson just not very lucky the last couple of weeks.
Still under review. The lone score thus far, the Travis Etienne 59-yard touchdown run. And a dominating performance so far by the Clemson defense.
After review, it has been determined personal foul, targeting, defense, number 2, 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. Number 2 is disqualified.
So that is the starting safety, Cameron Glenn, who will be out. Luke Masterson, Anthony, as you said, the next man up.
And normally I would say that's a tough loss, but even though he's a fifth-year senior, Masterson's been working in quite a bit. And again, you see that C on his jersey. Means he's a captain, Beth, so he'll be a big loss for this football team.
It is a defense that scored twice last week with a couple of their DBs, a pick six and a fumble return for a touchdown in their big win over Rice. ETN. Check that. That's Amari Rogers. Knocked out of bounds inside the 30. Clemson will step on the gas a bit here. Ross. Boy, they seem to really like, Anthony, their chances on the edge with the speed of their wideouts.
Well, what it does is with off coverage with the corners, when there's space, it forces them to make a choice. They're going to continue to do it. If you get tighter, then that's where those shots that Rocky was talking about will come. So Clemson being very patient right now with the receiver.
End of the first quarter here at Wake. That undefeated Clemson in town, showing what they can do on the defensive side in a 7-0 lead. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by PlayStation 4. 7-0 Clemson as we start the second, and the Tigers with a 3rd down and 1. 2 tight ends set here with Travis Etienne in the backfield. Rogers and Ross to the left, stacked. They'll run it behind the fullback. Etienne lunging, good push by Wake Forest.
Yeah, they may be short, and this is the area, Beth, I've been concerned about, the offensive line. But haven't been as physical as they have been in the past. They've had opportunities week in and week out to make key plays, make key blocks. Looks like they're going to go for it. Again, you got to find confidence. These guys have to come off the ball. I would again hand it off and let these guys up front make something happen.
They'll add tight end Cannon Smith. They'll keep the fullback Garrett Williams in there. And they'll set up in the eye on 4th down. Etienne with the bounce inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal, Clemson, as Travis got to the edge.
Well, everybody was bunched up in the middle. And guess what they did? They ran a little power to the outside. Good lead block, and kind of fooled Wake Forest on that one, getting themselves a big run.
Calhoun just did not think that ball was going to be able to bounce outside, but Etienne, so explosive, got to the corner quick.
And that was what the defensive coordinators were telling us yesterday. That lethal jump cut, as they called it, did not set the edge there. Etienne down to the 4.
Again, bouncing it outside, and you get Calhoun, and you pinning your guys, trying to make those blocks. You got a puller that wraps around, and it's all clean. And Etienne is a runner. If you watch him on film and study your notes, he wants to bounce it to the outside. You must have a contained player in play.
The H-back Williams will now line up as a tight end. Etienne 86 yards on the ground, and he'll get 4 more and his 2nd touchdown of the day. Give him 3 yards on that one for his 10th touchdown rush of the year.
And he's starting to hurt him a little bit, Beth, with the runs, and this defense needs to lock in on him because he's becoming a weapon.
PAT, not the prettiest, but it's good, and a 14-0 lead.
Travis Etienne starting to take this game over. Big fourth down run. And when they get close to that goal line, easy, not even touched, getting a touchdown.
Here is Wendy's fresh look at this week in the ACC, giving fans more on the hottest topic today. NC State stays unbeaten. Ryan Finley had himself a couple of touchdowns today. Florida State up on 17th ranked Miami. And the big one coming up tonight on ABC at 8 Eastern, Notre Dame in Blacksburg to take on Virginia Tech. And here is Greg Dortch, ball in his hands on the kick return, and he lost it. Fumbled it at the 35, and it trickled out of bounds, and it will stay with Wake. Let's check in to the studio with Adnan. Thank you, Adnan. We've got a 14-0 lead here. Clemson leading Wake Forest early in the second quarter. 0 rushing yards in that first quarter for Wake Forest. They'll try the sky. Incomplete. Intended for Sage Surratt. Mark Fields had the coverage.
Again, Dortch probably trying to press a little bit, does come out of him, loses, but he gets a lucky bounce. It goes out of bounds, so Wake Forest retains it. But again, finding him the football and ways to get him the football will be important.
Here he is with a touch, his second catch. Railed out of bounds at the 34. It's going to bring up a third down, and that is the 100th career catch for Greg Dortch, the fastest player in Wake history to do it. He needed just 14 career games. Now they're going to be short of the marker by a yard. Jack Frudenthal with the catch. Kayvon Wallace wrapped him up. And Phil Haynes is the injured Deacon.
That's their best offensive lineman. This kid is an NFL talent, 4-year starter. This would be a huge loss. Hopefully he's okay.
Making his 40th start today, Phil Haynes. We're back in a moment.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy, and IHOP, pancakes, pancakes, pancakes.
So this week it was the Hit the Bricks relay that has raised over $400,000 over the last 15 years to try and find a cure for cancer. Of course, one of the legends for Wake Forest, the ACC Player of the Year, Brian Piccolo. Brian's song in the same backfield with the Chicago Bears as Gale Sayers when he was diagnosed with cancer in 1969. He passed away a year later. And of course, that's all a part of the display here honoring Brian Piccolo, the number 31 jersey. They also named a residence hall after Brian here on the Wake campus. One of the all-time great sports movies, Brian's song.
Offense, number 1. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Too many negative plays. The story for Wake right here.
D linemen having a little fun there. They were just all in unison pointing the other way like the referee was pointing a flag. But, I mean, look, Wake Forest is punting, Beth. I think they had the ball in that series about 35 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to come up with something better than that, or Clemson's going to get the ball in good field position and continue to score points.
Fair catch at the 25 by Amari Rogers, a 41-yard punt. Well, Travis Etienne already with a couple of touchdown runs, Anthony.
Yeah, a lot of great things this kid's doing throughout this season. One of the most explosive players in the country. One of the top rushers with yardages throughout, but he's just been a game changer. He's a guy that's hard to tackle, really been untouched on a lot of these runs. Great blocking up front, but anytime he touches the ball, this defense has to gang tackle this kid because he's that dangerous.
6 carries for 89 yards so far. Adam Choice is in there right now. Choice with a burst of about 8. Rocky?
So I'll ask you guys, is Travis Etienne the best running back in the ACC? Obviously, we're talking A.J. Dillon, Cam Akers. What do you think?
He's an explosive playmaker, Rocky. I mean, I'm going to put him right up there. A.J. Dillon's a much different back, power guy, but he gets a tremendous amount of yards himself. The load is on his back. Etienne is a guy I think is an awesome complement for this Clemson team. So I'll tell you, I mean, it's hard. I'd take him. I mean, he'd be the #1 back and taking every snap for any team across the country outside of Clemson.
Trevor Lawrence with the run out to the 45. Well, wait a second, Rocky, you're the defensive guy. Who do you not want to try and tackle amongst those ACC guys?
I always hated going against the smaller, fast guys. I'll take the sledgehammer, A.J. Dillon, Jerome Bettis guys all day. But those guys that can kind of run over you and around you, those are the tough ones.
They are moving it now and spreading it around. That's TJ Chase with a touch out to midfield. Adnan's got another update for us. Adnan? Thank you very much, Adnan. Good news for Clemson fans. T. Higgins is back in the game down at the bottom of your screen after getting injured earlier in the first half on a targeting penalty.
The previous play is under review for targeting.
So they're going to go back and see if there was targeting on the end of that last play to TJ Chase. We will take a break while they review the hit from Amari Henderson. Back here in Winston-Salem, and the ruling no targeting on that last tackle by Amari Henderson.
Yeah, Henderson really absorbing the blow of the receiver Chase coming at him. So, again, when the helmets touch, they always want to be sure and check it out, but that was a clear-cut one for the referees.
2-touchdown lead for Clemson. They're on the move again. Trevor Lawrence has completed his last 6 pass attempts. Empty set here for Trevor. Edge pressure coming, and it'll get him. DJ Taylor throws him down for the loss of 6. And it's 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, a lot of movement at the offensive line. You see on the edge, they're going to come out. And again, you got to see Cade a little late. The guard's supposed to pick out and kick that linebacker from coming from depth, and he doesn't get there. He sees him, but he's just too late, not quick enough. And again, that's what happens. You roll around different players, different guards, rotate linemen. Sometimes you're not quite on the same page. Clemson uses a lot of them.
They do not have a 3rd down conversion yet today. Against the 3-man pressure, Lawrence down the seam. Justin Ross, touchdown Tigers.
Finally got some room, Beth. That's why this young man is playing quarterback for Clemson. Really nice job. He looks it out. It's got trips on the right side and just reads it. 3 routes, really an all, they call it an all-go special. Renfro clears it, and it is a wide-open seam pass to Terrell.
Second scoring play of over 50 yards. Lawrence on his birthday turns 19 today. He's got a TD toss to Ross.
Carving him up. This is what you do when you get the ball out of your hands fast. He's fired up. It only takes one to do the damage. They roll coverage, Beth. Here's a safety, Masterson, and what happens is Renfro is going to come and suck him down, and that's going to give Ross the open seam up the middle. Watch Renfro. See the safety jump him. Nobody's home with Ross after that rotation, and then there's just too much speed up the middle. Another dangerous weapon, a true freshman making a play.
His 11th career catch, 4 of them have been touchdowns for Justin Ross, one of their top recruits. How about an Ohio State update for us, Adnan? Thank you, Adnan. Just noticing that Syracuse and Pittsburgh have now gone to overtime this afternoon. Another ACC matchup right now. Phil Haynes, number 74, is back in there at left guard for Wake Forest, still without any rush yards today, and now in a 21-point hole. So they're going to go to Greg Dortch again. He's their top guy in a gain of 11.
Again, touches for him. I mean, 21-0. We haven't seen him get the ball often, but it's never too late to start.
They've really just had the one big play, and that's about it. Clemson has been wrapping them up, Rocky.
And the reason is, Beth, they're playing a lot of man-to-man, and they can do that because they have the horses to do it. They have a lot of 4- and 5-star recruits. That's really the only way to take away that RPO scheme.
On 2nd and 6, the jet sweep, and there's the youngster again, Xavier Thomas, who had that huge sack late in the Syracuse game.
Really love Xavier Thomas. They really feel like he's the clone of Vic Beasley. They say he's much ahead of where he was the same year, and he got a great first step. They talk about that coming off the football. He's a very dynamic, young, up-and-coming player.
Another negative play there, a loss of 5. Hartman to Greg Dortch. They will rule that a catch at the 40. But that's going to be 4th down and 6 now for Wake.
Again, just the pressure around him in the pocket. Looks like it hits the ground there as well. They'll probably look at this again. But again, how quick was this series, Beth?
Yeah.
I mean, Clemson's getting it back. They really have no yards on offense. I mean, it's just too easy for Clemson right now.
And now they're going to take this yardage away from them too, I think, on this review. Yeah, just 52 yards of total offense.
And obviously that's the hard part about running this kind of offensive scheme. If you're not getting first downs, your defense is right back on the field. Last year, this Wake Forest defense, 2nd most defensive snaps in the country. It's tough. I mean, you're playing an extra 2 or 3 games getting those kind of snaps.
You see the ball there, Beth, clearly, at least on that first angle that we saw, hits the ground. And you're right. I mean, this offense is effective when it goes. I mean, last week against Rice, it was a game changer. I mean, they put up a ton of points. Notre Dame, they scored a lot of points. They weren't able to kind of get the ball moving against them. They scored, but Notre Dame was ahead the entire game and had a lot of offensive snaps in that football game as well. So if you continue to get off and don't move the chains, like Rocky was saying, you're going to have no shot against teams like Clemson, Notre Dame, and some of these other big-time schools.
They are the only team in the ACC that averages over 30 points per game scoring, but also gives up over 30 points per game. And they got dinged up pretty good by both the Irish and BC with the big plays, and that's been the story for Clemson as well, with a pair of over 50-yard touchdowns.
And this is a rushing team. Don't make a mistake what Wake Forest wants to do. I mean, they're on the top, I believe, 20 in rushing throughout the country. So they have nothing going on with their backs and quarterbacks.
After review, the pass hit the ground. Therefore, it is incomplete. It will be 4th down and 11. Please reset the game clock to 8 minutes and 49 seconds. 8:49 on the game clock.
Dortch has been targeted now 6 times, 3 catches for 37 yards. And they'll have to punt it away again. Sixth punt already of this half from Dalmaggio. Will Chase Rogers back inside the 20 to the 15. And now for a look at today's PlayStation Player Index. Trevor Lawrence, 11 for 13 so far, over 100 yards and a touch.
Yeah, a lot of dink and dunks, wide receiver throws outside, but this is what he's been doing. He's been accurate. We did see him fumble the ball earlier, fell out of his hand, but he's been very fluent as far as passing the ball. Of course, the big touchdown pass down the seam when he was given the opportunity to go down the field, Beth, which wasn't often so far in this first half. He makes it happen, and he's a happy birthday boy today.
Turning 19 years of age. And look at the resume already for the youngster out of Cartersville High School in Georgia, the National Player of the Year, 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year, and he broke a lot of Deshaun Watson's Georgia high school state records.
41 straight wins or something, Beth, to finish off his career. It's not bad, not shabby.
And it was really the Georgia Tech win earlier this year that sealed the deal in the coach's eyes. 5 touchdowns on 6 drives, and that's when he took over for Kelly Bryant, who has since left the team and will look to transfer elsewhere. You know, when you got a program humming, right, and you're recruiting so well, you're bringing in top 5 class after top 5 class, some guys aren't going to stay. And it's actually 3 top-notch quarterbacks that have left Clemson just in the last 10 months. Zarek Cooper's already playing at Jacksonville State. Hunter Johnson is on deck at Northwestern, and it still remains to be seen where Bryant is headed, as he will have 1 year remaining. That's Lynn J. Dixon with the carry.
And the one thing that they told Kelly Bryant is, look, Trevor Lawrence is starting this week. They didn't say he's starting the rest of the season, which was interesting because I felt like there was still a role for him in this team. I mean, he's done so much, but again, his choice is to move on, and Clemson adjusts.
1 for 6 on 3rd downs. Lawrence on a rollout. He's going to air it out deep downfield and well overthrown, looking for Hunter Renfro. And it's 4th down.
Renfro, one of the most accountable, reliable receivers on this football team, and a little quiet today. Obviously, a lot of those quick passes go to the outside receivers, but when in doubt and you need a play, trust me, during the season, Renfro is the guy you're getting the ball to, a former walk-on, just a gamer, a clutch receiver, and he had a big one versus Syracuse as well to help cinch that victory.
Will Spires will kick it out of his own end zone. An opportunity here for Greg Dortch at his own 45. Pressure coming. They got after the kicker and knocked down Spires. A flag is down as the ball is down at the 45-yard line.
Now the question is, Beth, here, did he get a piece of the football? Because if he did, he's going to be okay. You never know when you're not going to get blocked. You got to be ready. Take it right off his foot.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker. Defense, number 34. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Yeah, he definitely runs into him, but it looked like the ball got deflected. Let's see it here. I mean, gosh, he could have caught that off his foot. He was so close.
That's Jasir Taylor. You're right. He could have just grabbed the ball.
Yeah, he does miss it. And you got to track the football, and you see he's disappointed. He could, perfect position. You got to get those hands right on the foot. One thing that's interesting to me, Beth, every time Clemson punts, Wake Forest is going for a block or some type of penetration. If I got Dortch in the back, I'm doing hold up. I'm going to block all those guys up front so he gets a clean catch and he can actually run with the football. So interesting choice on special teams for Wake Forest.
Instead, you give it back to Clemson, and this is the first catch for Renfro out across the 30. Hunter, the grad student from Myrtle Beach. 8th different receiver that Trevor Lawrence has gone to. 12 for 15 so far, with the touchdown throw to Justin Ross. Second and 7, and down he goes. Wrapped up back at the 21. It's Boogie Basham again.
And again, they're working linemen. They got a true freshman in there, Carmen, number 79, and he's got Basham. This is not a good matchup. Basham is very good, but look, they got good protection. It's just that Basham continues to work. You got to have an internal clock as a quarterback. Again, Trevor Lawrence is a true freshman. I know he feels comfortable and everybody's kind of there, but if that defender gets through, you got to know there's a certain time where you got to figure out to do something with the football.
Loss of 8, so 3rd and 15. Dumping it off to Etienne out of the backfield. He's got the 1st down out out to the 45, but there are all kinds of flags on the carpet behind him.
Illegal block in the back, offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty, third down.
That's sophomore Cade Stewart.
He's right here. He's going to hit 37. 37 does a nice job. Watch him turn his back slightly there. And he's going to hit him right on the numbers. Again, if you're a lineman, he really probably didn't have to touch him there, Beth. Just kind of stand there. Greer in good position, though, to cause Stewart to make that mistake.
They'll stay with Adam Choice in the backfield. Ross and Higgins go to the right. Thompson and Kendrick to the bottom of your screen. Lawrence slings it to the outside. Higgins with the nice dodge. He'll get out across the 25-yard line, and it's fourth down. Got 12 yards back. Well, let's see if they're going to go after it again or do what you thought they should, Anthony, and set up Dortch for a return.
Yeah, and what I mean is when you see all these linemen up front, they're going to try to penetrate the gap. I would just go right at these defenders right here and block them so they can't run down the field and make clean tackles. Better job. That's a holdup right there, and this is a returnable play.
A boomer to Dortch, trying to get to the outside. Does get the near sideline, and the cutback out across midfield will set up Wake Forest. How about an overtime update, Adnan? Tough one for L'Orange on the day. The other Orange doing all right here. Clemson leading Wake Forest 21-0. Under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Syracuse perhaps a bit of a hangover from last week's loss, and they'll go deep down the middle to the tight end, Jack Frutenthal. Gain of 20. Trying to run it, and it is just not there. They are still in the negative on the ground.
Yeah, again, suck the linebacker in, Beth. 57, Trey Lamar just slightly hesitates. That allows the tight end to slip over the top and get a nice pass from Hartman.
That's one of the few times they weren't playing man-to-man. You can see what happens.
They'll go ahead and empty it out, and Hartman looking for a seam. He'll push his way down to the 25. And it's going to bring up third down and about 7. Christian Wilkins was on the bottom of that stack.
See, when you play man-to-man, you have the running back. You can be aggressive. You can go get him because even as a pass, he's your guy.
Underneath, it's going to be close. Frutenthal reaching for it.
That's a nice, I don't know if he got the best spot, but they may have to measure this. And they needed to get to the 18, Beth?
Yeah, right on it. And it appears to be a nose short.
I'm wondering if that's...
Does it matter on fourth down here with 3:39 to go in the half? Yeah.
Thought maybe the spot could have been better, but it'll be a fourth down.
Does give Clemson an opportunity to get some fresh legs and some fresh lungs into the game. They will substitute liberally here, anticipating a 4th and 1.
Well, they haven't been great on the run so far. This is where this defensive line of Clemson comes into play. You see Wake Forest trying to calm them down, but that's Clemson fans making that move. They're not going to listen to the line of Wake Forest.
They have taken over BB&T Field.
They're down the wrong end of the field here to try to get this crowd quiet. It's all orange up there.
Ryan Anderson, the center, he has to look to his left because there's too much orange in the stadium.
Quarterback saying quiet down, and that's only making things louder. 4th and 1. Stuffed! Cleveland Farrell leading the charge against Cade Carney. And unless they gave him that second lunge, he appears to be short.
It's a good job by Farrell. And they get, well, they're still short, Beth. It's definitely going to be short. They'll probably measure it again, but they got to get to that 18. But Farrell does a nice job of reading this option out and just blowing it up. And again, that noise is a factor. We kind of joked about it, but man, you don't expect that kind of noise for your offensive lineman to try to get off the ball, and it is short.
Clemson will take over with 3:27 to go in the half. And a 4th down stop.
Watch Farrell's eyes. We won't be able to see his eyes here, but when he presses down, he reads it out. And look who falls there. And he had some help, too, as well, with Buse getting in there. So, again, this defense was ready for this. He gets a good measure. That's great bend, by the way. 6'5", 265 pounds. Scouts are going to look at that and say, wow, that kid can flex.
I'm standing right next to Dave Clausen. He's talking to the head linesman. He's saying, why'd you move it back? He thought he got the yardage with that extra effort.
Instead, it's Clemson football. 1st and 10, heading the other way. Choice, nice cutback, flag down as Choice goes down out across the 30-yard line.
And they're going to get Higgins on the outside for holding, and then maybe a face mask after.
Holding, offense, number 5. 10-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
We've seen plenty of Etienne and Choice today. We also saw Tavian Feaster get injured earlier in the game. He has not returned, and as you can see, he no longer has his helmet with him either. The 3rd man now would be Lynn J. Dixon, who's had a carry today. The penalty sets them back inside the 10. And a huge rush advantage for Clemson. And a delayed handoff. Choice breaks a tackle out to the 20. DJ Taylor forgot to wrap.
Hey, he hurt his shoulder on that one. Kind of took that one on square, and Choice kind of lowered his body into him and couldn't get his arms around him because he was a little sore on that.
Big hole up the middle and the burst out across the 35. And a 1st down for Adam Choice. Gain of 16 there. Replaced by Etienne, who is 11 yards shy of hitting 100 for the 4th game in a row. He'll get a few there. Zeke Rodney with the tackle.
It's nice to have multiple backs, Beth, that can make plays like Choice and Etienne, and of course Feaster not playing now, but it's dangerous weapons.
Receiver screen. Higgins trying to make something happen, and he'll get the 1st down yardage on a good block from Garrett Williams.
I think Lawrence is doing a good job of just taking what the defense is giving him. You mentioned earlier, Anthony, Wake Forest playing a lot of off coverage. He's just taking those little smoke routes to the outside, but when they give him a chance, he throws it deep.
Lawrence 14 of 17 here in the 1st half. They'll run it, and Demetrius Kemp got there in a hurry to take down Etienne.
Kemp's a rover guy. He was in the slot, and he comes off the edge. A way to make that play. And Wake Forest has done some solid things, but again, their offense has not been able to help them out when they get the football.
Held to just 76 total yards in the 1st half. Lawrence on the slant, Renfro down inside the 35, and a gain of 18.
Took a play out of Wake Forest's offense. Renfro just turns around, be ready for it. Trevor Lawrence guns it in his gut. Again, he's not really thinking he's getting the football, and all of a sudden he turns around. There comes, well, that's a good job by Renfro, though, having the awareness to catch that instead of let it deflect off his pads.
1:13 to go in the half. What you got for us, Adnan? Thank you, Adnan. Looking forward to that. Well, this season, Taco Bell is celebrating student sections and passionate fans like these by awarding the best student section of the year. The Wake Forest Demon Deacon student section is already on the national watch list. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete. .113 to work with before the intermission. Play action, Lawrence completes it to Ross. That's good for 11 yards.
Ball's always in the perfect position when he throws it to his receivers. It's right out in front of him. Again, clear as day. Why right now Trevor Lawrence is the guy for Clemson.
Good distribution too. This offense, 13 different players have a touch in this first half. It's back to Etienne. He gets down inside the 20, corralled by Masterson. Up to 97 yards here in the first half for Travis.
Good patience too. I mean, when they want to go downhill and be forceful and be aggressive, they do that. But they also let their blockers in front of them, Beth, set them up. And then all of a sudden you see those bursts, especially with Etienne on the outside.
Trying to drop it off to the tight end. Galloway is taken down for a loss of a couple. Jake Simpson got him. Now the 9th different Tiger receiver that has a catch. And now they'll hustle under a minute to go. Still have their 3 timeouts. Looks like a timeout for Wake Forest.
There's no penalty on the play. Timeout was called. Wake Forest, their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
And a 21-0 lead today for Clemson over Wake Forest. Beth Mowens, Anthony Becht, Rocky Boyman is with us as well. Well, we knew this defense was awfully good coming in. They have really shut down this Wake Forest tempo game here today.
Yeah, I think less than 76 yards of total offense. To me, the glaring thing is how quickly Wake Forest is not on the field on offense. It's 3 plays and they're off. It seems like less than a minute. Clemson's defense doesn't have to do much. I mean, they're just going out there, they're tackling, they're stopping the rush. And without the rush for Wake Forest, they can't get anything done in their offense at all.
And then on the other side, of course, Trevor Lawrence has been solid in the air. They've been able to run it with Travis Etienne, a balanced attack. And looking for more here in the final 35 seconds. This 10th play of the drive that started on their own 19. And looking at a 3rd and 7. Lawrence into the end zone, caught by T. Higgins for the touchdown.
Trevor Lawrence right now sees a lot. His vision is good. And they basically, Beth, ran the same exact play that their last touchdown happened. He gets a little pressure in his face, but he stands in there and delivers. We saw that earlier to start the game. That was part of it. But look at this. Just rotating that outside receiver up the middle. And Wake Forest really doesn't have an answer for it. Masterson takes a big hit, but that's good concentration by Higgins holding on to that football.
Have to keep an eye on Masterson. He is replacing Cameron Glenn, who was ejected for targeting earlier in the game. PAT from Greg Hugel, and it is 28-0. All Tigers here in the first half. Well, tonight on ABC, unbeaten Notre Dame heading to Virginia Tech. It's Saturday Night Football presented by Wells Fargo. Tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, and also live on the ESPN app. Ryan Willis is the quarterback, taking over for Josh Jackson at Tech. 3 touchdowns in that win over Duke last week.
He'll have his hands full, and I know Rocky has seen this Notre Dame defense. They're strong, aggressive. You know, the offense is getting a lot of buzz right now, but each week I see a force happening right now. And those two come together. They just got to get through the emotions of the night game in Wake Forest. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere.
At Virginia Tech.
No, excuse me. Yeah, not Virginia Tech.
They've already handled business here.
They did. Yeah, they already did that.
Well, Anthony, you mentioned that Notre Dame defense. One thing they don't do is give up big plays. I think they've given up 5 plays of 30-plus yards this year. They're deep. They're talented up front. They're talented in the back. Playing very well right now.
We've got you guys making some playoff predictions in the second half. Right now, though, the playoff predictor for ESPN has the Irish just on the outside of the playoff. Here's a look at the teams that have the best chance to go unbeaten, and Alabama and Ohio State pretty close there. Clemson following right behind that.
Yeah, keep that graphic. I just want to show us that. I feel like should be maybe around the 75 mark, because this team right now is rolling out. I guess 39% is what the numbers show, but when I watch them, I don't see anybody stopping this team. Is anybody going to go out there and punch them back in the mouth in the SEC? We haven't seen it. They
do have to go down to Death Valley to play LSU on November 3rd, which, by the way, mark your calendars. That should be a phenomenal day of college football. As of right now, you're looking at 5 head-to-head matchups of ranked teams on that first Saturday in November. That'll be, by the way, right after the first playoff reveal, which comes on October 30th. All building towards the national semifinals at the Orange and Cotton Bowls this year on December 29th, and then January 7th for the championship out in the Bay Area.
Yeah, another minus run. We just showed the graphic, 2 yards rushing for Wake Forest. I mean, Clemson, you know, they haven't really played any explosive passing teams yet this year. I mean, think about it. Furman, Georgia Southern, Georgia Tech. This is a run-based team as well as Wake Forest. So, you know, great half for this defense.
Hey, it's time for Adnan, Jesse, and Joey. Halftime, 28-0. Clemson leading Wake Forest. Now let's get you back to the studio. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by PlayStation 4. Here in Winston-Salem, the 4th-ranked and undefeated Clemson Tigers looking good so far in the 28-0 lead over Wake Forest. And after an injury scare last week for quarterback Trevor Lawrence, back in the starting lineup and looking pretty good after the early miscue. He was near flawless, had that early fumble, but rarely misconnected through the air. Hit 9 different guys, in fact, offensively. Beth Mowins, Anthony Beck, Rocky Boyman. It was a real balanced attack for the Tigers throughout, and even hit some big plays.
They dominated on offense and defense. Wake Forest really hasn't done anything, plus the 6 penalties, but it's really what come down to this balance on offense. Etienne at the back, really just nice job picking up blocks, finding holes, really easy. Wake Forest has really done nothing on defense to stop Clemson's offense. And then once the run game's going, what do? You start throwing the pass down the field, and Trevor Lawrence is showing his arm strength, showing his accuracy, finding 2 guys, really the same play from left side to right side to different receivers, and so far he's had a very solid performance.
The numbers for Etienne and Lawrence today, big ones. A couple of rushing touchdowns, a couple of passing touchdowns, a pair of scores of over 50 yards for the offense this afternoon. And now Sam Hartman And Wake Forest will try and find their way, held to just 79 yards of total offense, only 5 rushing in that first half.
Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, 79 total yards, it's not what we've seen. They didn't show that on tape, obviously, last week. Even against Notre Dame, Beth, they were able to put some points up on the board, but too much for this Clemson defense to put on them.
Hartman is sacked for the 3rd time, and that's the 2nd of the day for Trey Lamar.
Trey Lamar's the enforcer at the line of scrimmage, and he gets another opportunity on 3rd down. But again, this is kind of what it's been. And what are we, about 45 seconds, not even, Beth, into the 3rd quarter, and they're already off the field.
And Trey Lamar looked like he had the running back man-to-man, and he just continued to come and said, heck with it, I'll just go straight to the quarterback.
Called off the dogs.
Busy day for Maggio today in the direction of Amari Rogers. And they'll start at the 30 after the 50-yard punt. Rocky?
Obviously, Wake Forest let their defensive coordinator, Jay Salvell, go a couple weeks ago. But it's tough for any defensive coordinator with the way this offense plays. They go so fast, but with the penalties they've had today and just not being able to sustain drives, it makes it so tough on a defense. I think they've done better at the beginning, but you can see that how tired they're getting. You can see just, as this game continues to go on, it's just really tough going against this offense.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago, they went to Dave Cohen and Lyle Hemphill, the co-defensive coordinators now for the 2nd week in a row. It's been a challenge to slow down Trevor Lawrence, making his 2nd career start, and Travis Etienne gone! 2nd massive run of the day, 70 yards for the score. Behind the block of Tremaine Ankrum.
That fast, Beth. Again, it's Wake Forest just hasn't been in the right seams, gaps, and when you don't have gap integrity, they will make you pay. And right now, Etienne is getting some big numbers.
The first Tiger in 18 years with 4 consecutive 100-yard rush days. You got to go back to Woodrow Dantzler. 167 yards on 10 carries and 2 monster TDs. PAT is good, 35-zip.
He doesn't need too much space, but when it's there, Beth, nobody there, untouched. And you're not going to catch him from behind. Tremendous speed. Home run hitter, Travis Etienne.
You're watching the ACC on ESPN. One of the fun features here at Wake Forest, the grassy seating area in the end zone. And for Travis Etienne, the last 4 games, a school record for most rushing yardage over that stretch. He's still got time to add to it if they choose to send him back in there. And a comfortable lead here with 35-0 Clemson on top. On a day where we've already seen unbeaten Oklahoma lose to Texas in the Red River rivalry. Ohio State, its hands full for a half against Indiana. NC State and West Virginia, along with Alabama, already winners. Cincinnati's still unbeaten. Picked up the win, and for Travis Etienne, that last run, 70 yards on the touchdown, a career long for him. And there's a huge pop by Nolan Turner to stick the QB after a 9-yard gain.
He hasn't had many runs in this game, Beth, but he's taking shots on every single one of them. And he'll learn to run as a quarterback, when to slide, when to take the shots, but you got to protect yourself if you want to last the season.
They've got a first down there on the handoff to Matt Colburn. We mentioned NC State getting the win earlier. They have a bye next week, so does Clemson, and then they will meet each other in Death Valley in 2 weeks' time, and it certainly looks more and more like both will be undefeated going into that contest.
I hope it's a good matchup. I mean, I'm kind of shocked North Carolina State losing the defensive players, all 4 drafted. All defensive linemen were drafted in the NFL, and, Nehemiah Hines, their tailback, has gone on to the NFL. They've done a nice job. Ryan Finley obviously is the common denominator at the quarterback position, and he had a big game today.
I think certainly Clemson could use a little help from a couple more teams in the ACC to keep their strength of schedule up as they try and run the table in the league. Incomplete pass right there, and it's 4th down.
And of course, Virginia Tech and Miami, can one of those two teams continue to win out? I mean, VTech got that big game tonight, but Miami, I believe they're down right now. So again, they just can't afford for some of those other top teams to lose those games. It's been a struggle for Hartman, 7-20, Beth. 1 interception, 74 yards. Really has not had a complimentary run game to open things up, and they've really shut down Greg Dortch, this Clemson defense. Really nice job today of taking away their only weapon.
High punt, Rogers the fair catch. And they'll have it to start at their own 17-yard line and a 35-0 lead.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA.
Right across the street from us, it's the Dixie Classic Fair for the 135th year, the second biggest agricultural fair in the great state of North Carolina. And boy, are we excited about the ACC network that'll be coming next August. And that's a look at the new studio here at Wake Forest. State-of-the-art, 5,000 square foot control room. All those campuses, of course, around the ACC will have their own studios to work off of. It's the ACC network coming next August. And a wide variety of sports around the Atlantic Coast Conference coming your way. 35-0 our score here. Trevor Lawrence hands it off, and Tavian Feaster is back in the lineup. Little fare, I'm sure you've enjoyed over the course of your days, Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the most common snack is the fried Oreos. I mean, that's always got to try it, right?
Yeah.
Well, now it's become a year-to-year thing for me. I just trying to get the address to get them sent directly to the house now. It's pretty tough.
I used to hawk newspapers at the Great New York State Fair. That was the traditional end of summer. Trevor Lawrence gets to the outside and out of bounds. If you're ever up that way, you need to try a Hoffman's hot dog with a little mustard on it and a little relish. It's probably my favorite at the fair. Of course, Texas thoroughly enjoyed themselves at the
Texas
fair down outside the Cotton Bowl today. And the big upset over Oklahoma, knocking the Sooners from the unbeaten ranks. Opens the door a little bit for your West Virginia Mountaineers.
It is. You know, I don't want to jinx them, but they are playing well. You know, it's Will Greer is one of the best quarterbacks.
Lawrence hit as he releases, caught by TJ Chase. That'll be short of the first down, and it's 4th down coming up.
They don't want to take those free shots on the quarterback. Demps now, that's twice on first down, hitting the tailback with nobody blocking him, and then again they're coming right at him. And you know, with Lawrence being tall at 6'6", Beth, kind of opens up his body a little bit for those shots you wouldn't think would be a factor that could potentially come into play.
Yeah, I appreciate the way he keeps his eyes downfield and he's not affected by the rush, but that's a fine line between that and taking too many shots.
They have been able to keep Dortch quiet so far today, and they'll throw him down again. Whistle dead around the 20. Well, you mentioned Will Greer. Right now, 4-1 odds at the Westgate Las Vegas Superbook. The Heisman Trophy favorite certainly is Tua. He had another big day today. Kyler Murray may fall out of that with the Oklahoma loss.
I mean, not for anything, Beth, but don't you have to at least be required to play 4 quarters of football? I mean, Tua only plays till halftime, and he's over there chilling. He's actually probably getting a workout in the weight room at halftime because he doesn't get to play. I mean, again, I want to see somebody go toe-to-toe. I don't know if we will against Alabama this year. They're so good, and he's been so so strong at the quarterback position.
They do have a roadie in Death Valley down at LSU. And then a possible matchup maybe with Georgia on in the SEC championship game. Although Kentucky's looking pretty good too in the East, Rocky.
Now, Anthony, I was just going to say, with Will Greer's numbers are very impressive, even more impressive considering that NC State game was canceled, right? So that's coming in one less game.
Yeah, and it may affect both of them, Rocky. I mean, think about it. I mean, North Carolina State, they may both need those kind of games, but they're probably not going to replay those games. No question about that. 2 FBS schools, but you're right. That did play into the hands.
They will not play West Virginia. They did schedule East Carolina, and this is Kendall Hinton, the new quarterback for Wake Forest. Down inside the 10-yard line. Kayvon Wallace got him by the shoestring.
Hinton was a starter last year in this game. Remember, John Warford got hurt, didn't start the game, and he actually had a solid performance. Moved him to wide receiver and trying to get a spark. I think that's what Clawson's looking for against Clemson. 53-yard
run. Hinton again. Let's revisit that run.
Yeah, Hinton, again, it's just a design quarterback run. Nobody's home. A lot of backup players right now in the game, especially up front for Clemson. But, you know, watch it, pull a hamstring. He just came in his first play, goes almost 60-plus yards. It's a nice play. It's good to see Wake Forest do something offensively in such a quiet day for them.
Hinton to the air and complete. Rocky.
And guys, Greg Dortch on the Wake Forest sideline right now, shoe off. They're looking at his ankle, so he is not in the game right now in a critical time where they can score a touchdown.
See, he got whipped down on the punt. Looks like it got caught underneath the tackler, and he looked okay there, but sometimes those things tweak up. He may be getting them retaped as well, so hopefully he's okay.
Hinton bottled up. Kendall Joseph, first guy there, and it's 4th and goal. They've already got one 4th down stop today.
Looks like they're going to take some points here.
Nick Skiba's coming on. This would be a 25-yard attempt for Nick. And it is good. Wake on the board. 8:22 to go in the third. Time now for today's Aflac trivia question. And our question today, Clemson has won 3 straight conference championship games. Can you name the only Power 5 school to win 4 straight conference championship games?
Interesting, man.
Power 5. Not just a championship, but the actual championship game. As you know, some have had that for a long time, others not so much.
Tied, right?
You're rolling with the Tide?
I'm going to roll with them.
Yeah, I mean, they've been the most dominant. Couldn't possibly be another SEC team, right?
Was it Florida State maybe in the ACC?
Well, we're going to start to see some of the younger backup players now for Clemson getting an opportunity.
Although not the offensive line in front of Lawrence.
Yeah,
they want to make sure he's safe.
Yeah, that's they do have a few guys, but you're right. There's interesting. He's still in the game. I know it's early in the third, but
would imagine we'll see a ton of Lynn J. Dixon carrying the ball. Rocky?
Guys, I just got the word from Wake Forest. Greg Dortch is out for the rest of the game with a sprained ankle.
Wow.
Bad the worst here for Wake Forest.
I remember he got hurt last November, the abdominal injury, and did not play the final 5 games of the season for Wake. And now the injury today. Dixon breaking a tackle. Gets out beyond the 45 and a gain of 18. Freshman out of Butler, Georgia.
stable is full, Beth. Dixon obviously has had some snaps this year in some of these blowout games, but again, they just quarterback, wide receiver, running backs, they just continue to load up through recruiting.
Lawrence protected, but throws it behind his intended receiver, Thompson.
And it's taken him almost 2.5 quarters to throw a bad pass, and Dabo might be saying, hey, he was open deep, but wide open receiver there. But he's been pretty good so far.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I mean, I'm impressed. I mean, the film is there. There's no confusion why he's the starting quarterback right now, and he's only going to get better. You know, that's the thing about it. I mean, every game he takes it another notch up.
He's the latest here at Clemson. Of course, it's been quite a run for Dabo Swinney with the 3 consecutive playoff berths, a couple of National Coach of the Year honors, 7 straight 10-win seasons at Clemson as they have really reached to the top of the game.
And you know what he told us? He said, look, we're not even peaking yet. You know, he says, you know, we have a lot of critical errors, technique issues. We had a couple bad turnovers. You know, for them, I just feel like, you know, they haven't hit in their stride, and this is just one of those games they can continue to get better in.
Lawrence incomplete. Well, it's a run for Swinney and Clemson that actually started with Wake Forest. Right here in Winston-Salem on October 9th when Dabo was still an assistant to Tommy Bowden. And the Demon Deacons got a late touchdown pass from Riley Skinner to win it. A few days later, Tommy Bowden was out, and a little-known wide receiver coach got the promotion to the big chair, and Dabo, as the interim, finished out 4-2, and then was named the head coach the following season, and 10 years later, here they are.
How many people were losing their mind with that coaching hire at that time? Look at them now.
Unbelievable. I remember he was telling us a story last year, Beth, about, you know, when that happened, the AD called him in his office, and he was thinking, like, why is he calling me in there? Like, am I getting fired now too, or anything like that? And they're like, they gave him the head coach, interim head coach position. It's pretty incredible. Great rise for this coach. Now, Swinney's awesome.
More from Wake, including our trivia answer on the other side. Hey, how about our Aflac trivia question and answer? Clemson has won 3 straight conference championship games. Who's the only Power 5 to win 4 straight? And it would be the Florida Gators of Steve Spurrier back in the mid-90s.
Interesting.
4 in a row. So actually, not even Alabama won 4 straight championship games in the SEC.
Now, didn't Florida State win a bunch back in the...
regular season championships, yes.
Right. Okay. They
did
not have the title.
Clemson has a chance to win a 4th outright ACC championship. By the way, the Gators are leading undefeated LSU in the 3rd quarter, 14-10 down the swamp.
Really?
Oh boy.
So we started out the day, I think, 14 undefeateds, and that number may be dwindling, which could be good news for Clemson as we get closer to the playoff reveal at the end of the month, the 1st. Coming up next, another one of those unbeatens. It's the Kentucky Wildcats, and if you haven't said Snell yet this season, at UK, Benny Snell, big road test at Texas A&M.
He's been a one-man show for that football team, and I think, you know, Terry Wilson may have to make a few plays in this football game. Hasn't had to do much so far. He's been a good manager, but if they get down in a game, I'm wondering, do they have any offensive firepower in the passing game to come back?
Rogers takes the hit, stays on his feet, and down he goes around the 21. Well, that game that is coming up next, Benny Snell, one of the top running backs in the land. They are the top SEC rushing team this year. 2 huge home wins back-to-back. Of course, they've already proven they can win on the road, Anthony. They won at Florida.
Yeah, I mean, he's controlled every game, and there's those odds, Beth. I would say he's got the best odds in my book. Those
running backs.
These guys have losses. There's ETN 100-1. He may slide up, but I'll put $1 on Snell there. Why not?
I think Travis is going to move up that list too with 2 huge games back-to-back and a terrific start to the season as Chase Bryce has now come in at quarterback. The redshirt freshman will run the show as Choice gets the first down and a 10-yard run.
If anybody deserved the game ball, this guy did against Syracuse. I mean, I'll tell you what now. Pass that he made and some of those plays, I mean, his numbers weren't great, but he didn't make any mistakes, and they should have all said thank you for what his performance.
You know, the coordinators talked about what an emotional week it was building up to that game with the departure of Kelly Bryant, and really the preparation that they did as a quarterback room and as an entire team to get ready for the what if something happens to Trevor. And they were ready for it, and Chase got the job done late. And another huge play for Clemson. Adam Choice. Touchdown Tigers, 64 yards.
I mean, where's the middle of the defense in the second level? You know, one backer. Again, watch this guard, May. Great block. He gets the Mike back, and there's nobody there. I mean, listen, I don't think Clemson's in a passing mood right now. They're going to run the ball, and Trevor Lawrence like, hey, there's another one. This running game has just been dominant today.
Their fourth touchdown of over 50 yards. They have now rushed for 315 on the day as Choice joins ETN over 100 yards this afternoon. All Tigers. Wow, Florida State, a big turnaround.
We had them last week. I mean, their offense their line could just block a little bit. Francois, he'll carve you up, and looks like he's getting some time today.
The reaction of Chase Bryce as teammates come back to the side. Hats off to the Clemson offense today.
Gets a nice assist on that handoff.
Still 4:41 to go in the third. A 70-yard run for ETN, 64 for Choice, then ETN 59 yards, and a touchdown pass as well, Lawrence to Ross.
I think the offensive line for Clemson, Beth, needed this game to kind of impose their will on defensive front. I'm sure it did it today.
Chris Register.
He just registered a big hit. How about that? Starting to see some of the depth here, some of the younger players. He's actually older. He's a graduate. He's been waiting his time to get some reps, and it's good to see him get in the game. It's always nice to see when you go deep in the bench there and some of those older players that don't get a chance.
Yeah, some of these other guys getting out there, Foster and Huggins. We've seen Pinckney. Of course, the freshman Thomas. Plenty of PT up front. Hinton's going to run with it again. Out across the 30.
And this is so valuable for a team like Clemson to, I know with the score being out of reach like this for Wake Forest, they get to get some of those younger guys some work. So when an injury does happen later in the season, a guy has experience can step in and play.
You're right, and we see it every week. Somebody goes down and some unknown steps in and they have to replace them. So, look, they're pretty set with their ones. We know those guys on defense, but Clemson definitely getting a chance here to show some of their other players.
And they get the open date next Saturday and get ready for undefeated NC State and then what looks like a rejuvenated Florida State with a trip down to Tallahassee to close out the month of October. Fourth down, another punt coming up. Leland Farrell, Dexter Lawrence, Christian Wilkins, Austin Bryant. Those are the guys that have led the way up front and getting a good look at a lot of the depth for the Tigers. They're going to get a chance next year when those guys move on. And
good to see him embrace the good play for Register. Wilkins, first guy out to high-five them, and they're into this game still. They're not sitting on the bench and eating hot dogs like we used to do in the league, Rocky.
That's right.
10th punt of the day. They're caught by Rogers. But here's what Todd McShay thinks about some of these prospects for the NFL draft next spring. Thinks Big Dex will probably go top 5 and Wilkins shortly thereafter. And then Cleveland Farrell, another guy that won't be on the board very long.
Yeah, I know you like these guys a lot, Rocky. Austin Bryant is another NFL guy. We don't have him on there. I think he's going to go just as high. But talk to an NFL scout today. His favorite one was Lawrence. The size, he's 350, Rocky. Just a guy tough to handle in the middle.
Yeah, I just think it depends on the team. I think Lawrence, with his size, 350 pounds, more of a 3-4 scheme, like a 2-gap kind of player. I think Wilkins more of a single-gap guy.
Here they go again. Dixon. A foot race for the end zone. Unbelievable explosive plays today for Clemson. That one goes 65 yards.
How does this happen? How do you not have anybody on the second and third level to tackle a running back through the line?
Well, they tried to simplify it, Rocky, right? They made a change, but no one's there. And they're still starters in this game. I mean, this isn't a bunch of backups for Wake Forest. I mean, they generally, they're in the right spots, but today just cannot get it done. Travis Etienne loves to see his boys run the football, and they're doing it.
380 yards rushing. 4 scores of over 55 yards. Well, this season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. Plenty of PATs today to add to that list. 49-3, Tigers on top.
Still third quarter, Beth.
Total yards.
It's going to get, wow. Lucky number 5, 555 yards. Wow.
I think it's safe to say that Jay Sawvell was not the big issue with the defense, right? There's clearly some other things going on with this defense right now.
Well, they're young, Rocky, right? I mean, they got some players are trying to fit in. When 4 of your top 5 tacklers, Beth, are defensive backs, that's always a glaring issue, and they're not even getting in on the tackles now. And Dave Clawson obviously has to get this defense going and cranked up, because they're only halfway through, and they're going to have some opponents now that can run the football, and they're going to be on the road too, Beth, the next couple weeks after the bye.
We've got a studio update at Nan Burke. Buckeyes starting to pull away from the Hoosiers. That's not a good look right there for Wake Forest fans. Their most explosive player, Greg Dortch, the ankle injury and struggling really to even make it over to the cart or the locker room for the Demon Deacons.
Yeah, that's not good. That's this entire offense. I mean, we said it before, 20 touches. He was barely able to get that today, but they do have a bye, so hopefully it's not going to take long to see him back on the field.
7 targets, 3 catches today for Greg. And they will have to try and regroup and just now trying to stay as healthy as possible. They've had several guys knocked out of this ball game, and now another injured player down on the ground. I believe that's Javiante Nash. Backup left tackle, number 63. 49-3 score. It's been a lot of good things happening for the Clemson Tigers. The explosive plays today, just incredible what they've been able to do.
Especially on the ground. This is an offensive line for Clemson. I saw some holes in their line the last couple weeks, and this is something that kind of gets that confidence going. And Dabo said it earlier in our meeting this week. He said, look, we haven't hit our peak. Last year at this time, they felt like they were really starting to catch fire. But, with a young quarterback now and getting that big running back game behind him, this can only lead for problems for the rest of the ACC. Yeah. So I look for this offense to start flourishing and taking the next step.
And certainly, there's still an awful lot of football to be played over the course of the season. But if you're doing, say, a head-to-head comparison with the Notre Dame, who came in here and took care of business against Wake Forest, now Clemson in the eyes of the committee and say, hey, we did the exact same thing and maybe even a little bit better. As you start to think about those things for the selection committee to ponder in the next couple of weeks before that first reveal.
Well, I think it's especially important, Beth, because if you look at how the season's going to go here, especially, say, for Clemson and Notre Dame, there's a scenario, there's not a lot of tough teams on either of these teams' schedules, so you got to figure some style points are going to factor in at some point, right? When you blow out a team, and I think the more you can do that, the more you can make your case. If both Clemson and Notre Dame end up undefeated, those style points may be a factor.
And they'll have a couple common opponents, not just Wake. Syracuse is still on Notre Dame's schedule. Obviously, that was a close game last week, but it's very realistic to say that Clemson and Notre Dame could finish their seasons both undefeated. How does it shake out now? Do they both get in potentially? I mean, I think if you win the ACC and Clemson runs the table, they're in and it's golden. I don't know, though, if it shapes out, if they were to have one loss, I don't know if their resume, at least up to now, would be good enough. But again, that's down the road. But those are the things, again, when you look at Clemson, you got to continue to go out there and take care of business.
A lot of direct snaps here to Kendall Hinton. Well, Anthony, here are your playoff picks right now.
This is as of today, of course. Bama, Ohio State, to me, in my eyes. We've seen Georgia twice, and I think nobody really wants to talk about Georgia, but they're pretty good on the defense, and I think they're, from a secondary standpoint, they can hang with Alabama, but we potentially wouldn't see that. Notre Dame, Rocky, I give them love. I'm never biased, okay?
Whoa!
I'm not biased. I'm never going to say West Virginia, put them up.
A little low right now, I think. Wait till mine come up.
Notre Dame at 4, but I don't have Clemson in there yet. They're right there, trust me. I'm not counting Clemson out. They just, again, this is a dominant performance by them, but moving forward, they just got to continue to do their job.
All right, Rocky, you're up.
We can see right there.
You got Notre Dame at 3 in front of Georgia, and then Clemson at 6.
I just think Notre Dame's resume, who the teams they've beaten, have been more impressive. I think the win over number 7 Stanford in dominant fashion is better than Georgia's win over Missouri, right? I mean, that's kind of how I saw. I tend to factor who the teams play and how and the teams that they beat more so than just the eye test.
Now, Rocky, I had Clemson at 5. You had them at 6. Can you explain to the fan base why they're only at 6?
Again, it comes down to the win. What's their big win? A narrow win over Texas A&M? How good's Texas A&M?
Okay,
Hey, Clemson fans, of course, take note. Oklahoma's already lost, and undefeated LSU is losing right now to Florida. Oh, it's a good time of the year. Headed to the 4th in Winston-Salem. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by PlayStation 4. That is not Death Valley, folks. It's a road game for Clemson, and the faithful have shown out. They are enjoying this one over Wake Forest. Hinton trying to make a play, and he'll work his way out close to midfield. As we are underway here in the 4th quarter.
Good job by Hinton there.
First down, Demon Deacons.
Uh-oh, he's a little gimpy, though. That's no coaches tell him to stay in. I don't know. Clausen's like, yeah, tough it out.
Hinton has been making some plays.
And Hinton, if you remember from last year, he throws a really nice deep ball. The short stuff he struggles with, but really good on the deep stuff.
11 carries, 92 yards for Kendall, and now he'll try one of those deep throws. Incomplete. Intended for Steve Claude.
Pass intended for number 88.
Right there on the sidelines.
One of our parabola operators. Appears to be all right.
I mean, if you're going to throw a ball up in the air, I would go the other side. That's where number 7, Scotty Washington, is.
Yeah. He's
finally healthy, or at least close to being fully healthy. He's 6'5", 225 on the bottom of your screen here. But again, he's given this offense a little juice today, and it's been kind of a down day for Wake Forest.
Well, they're going to throw it again. Exact same play, exact same result. Looking for Alex Bachman, our Parav operator. Agile, got out of the way of that one.
Good off-season program we have here at ESPN, getting these guys in shape, doing some speed ladders in the off-season, and get ready for those situations.
You keep your head on a swivel down here, too, now.
It ain't just like you're showing up. I mean, we got a rigorous routine you got to get through.
Clausen taking a little more time here. Obviously, that's.
Let's see if they come this side, Anthony. That's Scotty. Of course, the other thing you're doing too here is extending the game. That stopped the clock on 3 different plays. You're going to find that balance between staying healthy and getting guys some valuable reps.
Yeah, it may have been nice to run the ball 3 downs instead of. I mean, that took 20 seconds to run 3 plays, and now they got to punt the ball back to Clemson, which. When Clemson's just trying to run the ball and run the clock out, they're scoring big touchdowns. I mean, they're not tackling them. So defense, they need to get to a nice, base defense here and make sure they got players at the second level that can make tackles on these running backs.
It is a career-high 11th punt for Dom Maggio today. No return on it. Of course, we got a big game coming up on ABC tonight, Notre Dame and Vodtech. What did the Irish look 2 decades ago? We'll take a peek when we come back. Tonight on ABC, it's unbeaten Notre Dame visiting Virginia Tech. Saturday Night Football presented by Wells Fargo. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. Can the Irish remain unbeaten with Ian Book at quarterback and one of the best defenses in college football so far this year? We know the Irish D is good, but are they Boyman good, Rocky?
Look at this play here. Heisman Trophy winner Eric Crouch running him down. How about that, Anth? You gotta love it. That guy ran a 4.4 to combine. So there you go. Look at this. Look at those sideburns too. Love it.
2 observations as I see that play, Rocky. Number 1, I'm glad you didn't horse collar the quarterback on that play. You made a good tackle. And the next one was it Notre Dame grandfather hat giveaway day, because that was old school that way. Look at that.
It was hot. They were dipping it in the water so to cool my head down a little bit. I had all that hair flowing. You know what I mean?
They obviously didn't have razors. You chopped them off.
They
right
did. My mom loved that hairstyle back in the day. Should I grow that one back? What do you think?
Bring it back, a little Elvis in the building.
Good stuff. Looking forward to seeing that Notre Dame Virginia Tech game. In all seriousness, you got a couple of keys to that one tonight?
Well, I think that I worry about Virginia Tech's defense, right? I mean, I know the atmosphere is going to be intense, Rocky. I know that it's going to be loud, but once you get past that first 6 minutes of the game, what do you got for me, Virginia Tech?
Yeah.
You got a backup quarterback. I know he played well, the last game, but this is Notre Dame. Notre Dame needs to come out and set the tone early and really counter the audience that's going to be trying to make some noise in this game.
Another big play here for Clemson, and Dixon all the way down to the 20.
Well, Anthony, you were talking about Virginia Tech's defense. They're going to be without their best pass rusher, Trayvon Hill. He was, I believe, suspended for the rest of the season. So that's just one less piece they have on that defense that's already been pretty maligned this year. And, the offensive line for VTech hasn't been playing as good as people wanted. So, I mean, look, Notre Dame always finds themselves in a position, though, where they're in the conversation, everyone's talking about them, and then they've suffered a bad loss. So I hope it's not tonight.
This is you're falling into the trap.
The Irish Catholic guilt. Inside the 20, that's the coach's kid, Will Sweeney with the carry.
Nice.
All right, how about that?
Clemson fans down here love it, too. Going crazy.
Feed him the rock, coach.
Dabo just said in his voice, "Get him the ball. Let's go. Get him the ball again. Let's go."
Run it with choice. What a special moment, though, for any parent and child to share a moment like this. Oh, look at that little smile.
That's good stuff. I mean, listen, it's hard enough to play football and major college football and to be on the team. And he was a good player in high school. I mean, he's just coming out here with his dad. And look, he's yoked up. He's obviously got a good program on here. He's obviously his guns are looking big, man.
They got 300-yard rushers today. out of that backfield. Here's one of them. Choice staying on his feet. Tumbles down to the 2. All right, is there any pressure right now on Tony Elliott and Jeff Scott to give it to number 22 in white? I'm just going to throw that out there.
A little jet sweep or maybe a little fake slip screen and throw the ball. They're not going to throw the ball, obviously, but
they're going to slide.
It always helps to get the head coach's son the ball. I mean, just kind of a general rule.
Or is he a decoy right here? They'll throw the fade the other way, and a foot down, touchdown! DeAndre Overton.
6'4", pretty good job, a high point in that one. I mean, that's textbook right there. Going up at the highest point, raising your hands, even with the defender's hand in his face mask, he's still able to bring it down, control it, and the foot is in bounds. And there's a team player right there.
The kid draws a double team on the other side.
Is that what it was?
Everybody in the building thinks it's going to 22.
We don't have that footage for some reason.
A lot of fun today for the Clemson fans.
ESPN College Football is presented by PlayStation 4, the best place to play.
It's the first time in a dozen years that Clemson has had 3 different guys rush for over 100 yards. Etienne, Choice, and Dixon accounting for 5 touchdowns. They've all been winded a time or two as they have combined for 4 rushing scores of over 55 yards.
You're probably thinking it's a tough choice to give one of those guys a game ball, but I'll tell you, the offensive line, I don't recall, maybe you can tell me wrong, Beth, has anybody touched any of these backs on these touchdown runs?
Wow.
They've been scot-free. I mean, the line of scrimmage to the second level has been blocked up, and these guys are just running through holes with nobody around them.
And oh, by the way, Lawrence has only missed on 5 pass attempts today. What you got for us, Adnan?
The kickoff is a touchback.
Also, LSU moves in front, and here comes Miami. A couple of good ones going on right now. And a new quarterback coming on for Wake Forest. It's Matthew Considine, the redshirt freshman from Florida. Hands it off to Christian Beal-Smith.
Kendall Hinton looked like he may have sprained an ankle or was a little gimpy on that last series, so they got to go a little deeper on the depth chart here to get this redshirt freshman in.
On a day where Greg Dortch, their top playmaker, had to leave with an ankle injury. They're hoping he'll be able to return after their bye week next week. And for Clemson, they are headed home to Death Valley in 2 weeks for a showdown of unbeatens with NC State. Beal-Smith again. Ian Book and the Irish coming up tonight, 8 Eastern on ABC at Virginia Tech. I know, Rocky, you were chirping a little bit on social media this week that Enter Sandman is not even your favorite Metallica song?
No. I'm a diehard Metallica fan, Beth, and no good Metallica fan would even put that song close. That's like 83rd on the list.
Is it really, man? I got to listen to some Metallica.
You got to get deeper into those albums, Anthony. Come on, I will be your tutor.
I've never got into that album.
James Hetfield on line 1 for you, Rocky. Line 1.
Damage Incorporated. I'll put that at
1. Beal-Smith breaking a tackle into the secondary and hauled down around the 30-yard line. First down, Wake Forest. Well done here.
They really like Beal-Smith. He's gotten some reps. 42-yard run. Shows good burst, good speed. Against some of the backups for Clemson, but some of those backups are 3, 4, 5-star guys. So again, this is great work for him, and maybe this gives him some more reps, Beth. I mean, they got to find a running game, a more consistent running game, which they have not been able to find today.
Freshman from right here in Winston-Salem. Under 8 minutes to go. First and 10 for Considine. Thrown down for a loss back at the 35, KJ Henry. Well, tomorrow at 10 Eastern on ESPN, it's Sunday NFL Countdown presented by Snickers. Odell Beckham Jr. will sound off on the Giants' rough start, plus A-Rod and Patrick Mahomes. The story of their connection. All coming up on Sunday NFL Countdown with Sam Ponder and the gang.
The Giants' poor start. Are we going to continue to blame the lineman, or is the quarterback maybe the guy that has the issues? I mean, look, there are people saying, why didn't they take a quarterback at the draft? And we decided that they felt like they could win games. Well, right now they got injuries and poor line play that hasn't turned around for them. And definitely not happy with their start for sure.
There's a couple guys married together for the rest of their careers, right? Saquon Barkley and Sam Darnold, Giants and Jets, picked right after one another.
There was some good buzz in the preseason about that, but it's been a struggle.
I mean, look, quieted down a bit.
Both of those teams, obviously Jets in a rebuilding stage, but Giants, I mean, let's be honest, they felt like they could win right now. That's why they didn't choose a quarterback. Eli Manning was good enough in their eyes to get this thing going, but just haven't been able to get it clicking. And OBJ is another guy.
You see a good quarterback on Monday night, right? Drew Brees, a chance to set the all-time passing yardage record for the New Orleans Saints. Throwing for the end zone, bobbled and dropped, incomplete. Intended for Jones.
That's unfortunate. That's a heck of a throw. And Considine here, right in his hands. Oh, you got to turn your hands the other way, let it come right into your breadbasket there. He turns his hands the other way, thumbs in, and doesn't concentrate all the way in. Nice route, nice throw, just couldn't finish the catch.
They're going to go for it here on 4th down. Fourth and 10. Considine slinging it downfield, and it's broken up right at the goal line. Mario Goodrich was there. And Clemson will take over on downs with a big lead on the road. Oh, that's a nice little Saturday right there. If you're a Clemson fan, a big Tiger win and a Cub hug right there. They are enjoying themselves on the road today. They've been doing just about everything right for Dabo Swinney. And, of course, interesting to note when it comes to Dabo, the win last week was the 106th of his career. That passed Knute Rockne on the all-time wins list. His win today, if we're going to give it to him here, will bump him his win percentage in front of Bear Bryant. Career win percentage. Just a little perspective on the decade of Dabo at Clemson, which includes a national championship.
He's been unbelievable. And I'll tell you, he does it the right way. He's a great person off the field. We've met him several times. The guys embrace him. He treats these kids like they're his own. And, a lot of coaches are doing that. But he has a sense of just connection with them. And, he pushes them when they need to be pushed. But he's been able to get this Clemson team consistently every year, getting bigger recruits, better players, and just being in that elite conversation every season.
He's one of just 4 active guys with a natty. Of course, 6 for Saban, 3 for Urban Meyer, and Jimbo Fisher making the move this year from Florida State to Texas A&M.
And the question for Clemson is, how long will it take to get the next one? Can Trevor Lawrence, as a true freshman, can he lead this team? Can he get hot enough over the next couple games that he does with what Jake Fromm did for Georgia last year and lead this team to a potential win in a national championship? That's what they feel right now by making him the starter. So interesting to see what he does moving forward.
We've got Jimbo Fisher, by the way. Coming up next is Texas A&M Aggies facing Kentucky. We'll preview that one when we come back. Oh, Indiana trying to put a little scare into them. Good start with the Hoosiers. How about that guy right there? That kid's ready to go in. Brought his helmet. He's ready to play. On a 56-3 Clemson lead. Got 4:13 to go. And it's been one of those days for Wake Forest. Nothing seems to go right. And in fact, now you're even tackling your own guys last punt.
Ugh. Sometimes it works out that way. Yeah, you know, it's just not a lot of buzz on the sideline. They're obviously talking about it here, but it just hasn't been from top to bottom, all the way across the board, defense, offense, special teams. Just Wake Forest never had a shot in this game, and it's because of Clemson. That's what happens when you go up against these guys. They just got so many weapons, and this defense came out and played. The D-line, which we didn't get to talk about much, but they shut this team down.
Yep.
Farrell and Wilkins and Bryant were just big time.
Hey, tonight after the Utah-Stanford games, head over to SportsCenter on ESPN with Bucci and Stan. They've got the complete post-fight breakdown. Habib and McGregor from UFC 229. And also the latest from college football. And a 4-game day, I believe, in Major League Baseball playoffs. That's all on SportsCenter coming up after the Utah-Stanford matchup. You like McGregor? It's been a while since he's fought, right?
Yeah. Did he box his last fight?
I think the last fight was
that
was
wasn't pretty.
in the ring, not the octagon. And Wake Forest going to be forced to punt right here. That's KJ Henry. That's a nice tackle. Of course, stick around. We're going from one unbeaten to another. Kentucky's still unblemished. One of the surprise teams of this college football season. And a chance once again to check out Josh Allen and Benny Snell as they visit Aggie Land. And Will Sweeney here, the coach's kid, back to return this punt. There he is. He's going to be standing right around his own 35-yard line. Busy day for Maggio, kicking it from inside the 15. Sweeney's going to give it a go.
There was no shot. He was fair catching that bet.
Hey, we talked to Benny Snell a couple of weeks ago in your huddle up, and he had this to say about UFC.
You're a tough guy. If you can face off with one guy in the octagon, one guy anywhere, who would you get in the ring against? Come on.
Anybody I want.
Anybody. Coach, player, friend.
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor?
Oh, I like
okay.
that. I like how he plays, and he's cocky, and I want to, you know what I'm saying?
You're like, get it!
If I could, so Conor McGregor.
All right.
He wants Conor McGregor. He wanted to be on the card tonight.
He's a tough guy. This is Sweeney on the end around. He took the pitch from Hunter Renfrow, who's now in at quarterback. So Hunter has caught a pass. He's punted today and now in at quarterback.
And you see Christian Wilkins, he's like, hey, how come he gets to play quarterback? I've been begging to play quarterback. He doesn't. He's like, can I get one snap or something? I'll tell you what, he's as athletic as any defensive lineman I've ever seen. He might be able to do a couple things at the quarterback position.
Look at it, he's still got his helmet on over there around the 40 round. Come on!
He re-stretched, he got the foam roller, he's all warmed up, he's got a little sweat going.
He's working on Brent Venables. Come on, look it. I'm the guy.
Could you imagine if he did go in though? He might bait him. Dabo took the headset off, so I don't think there's any shot. Still got the mouthpiece in his hand though. I don't know.
And look at, there's Big Dex right behind him saying, hey, if he's going, I'm going too.
Yeah,
if Big Dex goes in, that's it. I'm done.
It's like, let me be the jet sweep guy.
350-pound quarterback.
Wilkins jet sweep to Dexter Lawrence.
Run it right here, and it's another big play for Dixon, looking for a block in front of him. Dixon tackle. Inside the 5. Touchdown.
Oh, look at it. He may get a flag on this, but he doesn't care. Christian Wilkins running all the way over.
There you go.
I love it, man. You know, Wilkins hasn't played a snap in about 2 hours, and he's the first one out there running. Keep your eyes on Hunter Renfro right here, number 13. Wow, he gets a big block. He was just playing quarterback, folks. Leads us around, and I'll tell you what, he might have to. Here we go. So let's clock it. Get to 40.
I'll show you my speed right here.
Oh, boy.
He can skip the combine now.
Easy now. Don't pull a
Go
hammy.
straight to the draft.
He hasn't done anything yet in a while. Be careful.
Lynn J. Dixon, 135 yards rushing on the season. And today, 163 on 10 carries. The most rushing yards for Clemson as a team since 1981 against Wake Forest when they ran for 471. Excuse me, 471 today. Hey, this week on ESPN's Monday Night Football, Drew Brees chasing after Peyton Manning's career NFL passing record. He could also pass Brett Favre along the way. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's at 6 Eastern, and then it's Washington and New Orleans at 8:15. Drew.
He should get it. I wouldn't see how he wouldn't get 200 yards plus throwing the ball. I mean, what an incredible career. And remember, he's just a click younger than Tom Brady. So if you think Tom Brady's going to catch him, I don't know, man. Drew Brees on fire. And they're actually playing good football. They're one of the best teams in the NFC.
Well, you got some of the old timers that have been doing it so well for years in the NFL, and now you've got this new crop of young quarterbacks that have moved into the league, sort of reinvigorating it with the play of a guy like Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield doing some nice things at Cleveland. Of course, Sam Darnold starting right away for the Jets. And the birthday boy today, Trevor Lawrence, 20 for 25 with a couple of TD throws.
Beth, I'll tell you what I like about what they've done with both Baker Mayfield and Mahomes is Andy Reid, for instance, he's allowed Patrick Mahomes to just run what he's good at. He didn't try to force him into a totally pro style. He's just taking what he does well and letting him run with it.
Clemson will improve to 6-0 and get ready for an unbeaten showdown with North Carolina State in a couple of weeks. Coming up next, Kentucky and Texas A&M. 8 o'clock Eastern on ABC, Notre Dame at Virginia Tech. The late game tonight, Pac-12 After Dark, Stanford hosting Utah. Still got some great games coming your way. A day for big plays for the Clemson offense and another lockdown performance for the Tiger D. Impressive on the road, 63-3. Up next, Kentucky and A&M. For right now, let's get you back to the studio.